right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a special surprise edition of The Last Call. A little early in the day. I guess we'll call it something like the Jazz's aperitif or first round. But anyway, we wanted to come to you live today to walk you through our list of the 10 albums you need to know for June 2020. This is a feature that we do regularly on our website where you can read it as a text article. And we decided to bring it to you here as a live video just so that you could hear us talk about it. Now, who's us? That would be me, Brian Zimmerman, host of Jazz's Last Call and executive editor of Jazz's Magazine, and the one and only Matt McCucci, our very own online editor. He really needs no introduction, so I'm going to stop introducing him. And let's go ahead and bring in Matt McCucci.
If I knew we were going to do that intro, I would have been ready for it. I feel like I've let down the entire segment.
Absolutely not. You are never let down, sir. You are our resident 10 album picker, our resident film buff, our resident charming Irish brogue speaker. It is always a pleasure talking to you, even during these relatively insane times for the world. We have put together a great list here, I must say, for the 10 albums you need to know for June 2020. And we'll preface this by saying, you know, the music industry, like everybody else this month, has just been dealing with so many pattern changes and, you know, things going upside down. And so some of the release dates for the albums that we're going to go through may have changed already or may change again to be pushed back even farther. But we'll put it like this. You know, we put this list together and these albums were coming out in June. So this is our story and we're sticking to it. The other disclaimer that we'd like to put in front of each one of these lists, Matt, as you know, is that these are not the 10 best albums. It would be impossible to pick the 10 best albums of any given month just because there's so much amazing music coming out each month. But these are ones we thought were noteworthy for their music, yes, but also for their backstory or, you know, some specific context. And I think it's a really great list, Matt.
It's a great list. It's a really good one. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm looking forward to chat about these albums.
Me too. Me too. I've got it's during the day, so I'm not doing any drinking. I've got my sparkling water, my LaCroix or LaCroix.
Wow.
LaCroix. I don't know.
See, we don't get that here. We don't get that here in Europe. I hear about it all the time.
If you knew how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's LaCroix or LaCroix. Somebody set us straight in the comments. I should know. I drink this stuff by the caseload, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, Matt, we have got our 10 albums feature queued up, ready to put on screen, and we're just going to be walking through it one by one, kind of letting folks at home know about each one of these albums. So where's a good place to begin, Matt? How about number one?
I don't know. What is number one, Brian?
Number one, and you can go ahead and pull these up, Jeff. This is a new album by trumpeter Ambrose Akinmusire. It is called On the Tender Spot of Every Callused Moment. So this one, again, was originally scheduled to be released June 5th. It was pushed back to be released June 12th, and it is a great one to start off our list. I've been listening to a lot lately. Matt, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, no, it's a very powerful album. It's a depiction of the complexity of Black life in America. It's very apt to the times that we're living in. Leans kind of heavy on the blues. Of course, blues traditionally has that communicative power that allows it to kind of transmit these messages. And for sure, in fact, it does recall a little bit some of his earlier recordings as a leader, at least to me anyways. And while the atmosphere as its driving concept would kind of suggest tends to be very serious and somber and even solemn, there is beauty in the tapestry of the sounds, which itself adds a sense of hope, I find.
Mentioned the blues. That is a touchstone. He has worked with hip hop artists. He has worked with soul and R&B artists. His leanings tend to be kind of toward the avant-garde, free improvisation, creative jazz side of things. And for more straight ahead folks like myself, I am a card-carrying member of the Straight Ahead Jazz Fan Club. You know, a good way to really get into this album, because it is beautiful, is to focus first and foremost on the quality of Ambrose's sound. It is just so stunning. He packs so much emotion into a single sound, and he really uses extended techniques of the trumpet, so making it sound like any trumpet you've ever heard, and just packs so much pain and joy and, like I said, emotion into individual sounds. If you focus on that, that's a good kind of inroad into really appreciating the beauty of this album. So yeah, definitely want to check this one out. All right, Matt, we will move right along to number 2 on the list. A little bit of a change in pace here. This one is by guitarist Dave Stryker with saxophonist Bob Mincer and the great WDR Big Band. It is called Blue Soul, and it was released on June 5th on Strike Zone Records. Dave is a great guitarist. What can you tell us about his latest release?
Oh, well, this is a great one. Well, I love me a good big band album. I really do. And a WDR big band is one good big band. It's a very acclaimed big band. And hey, Bob Mincer and Dave Stryker have known each other for some years. They played together on occasion. This new collaborative project is a little different. Obviously, Mincer serves as Germany's acclaimed WDR big band's principal conductor. And here he rearranges some of Dave Stryker's compositions, as well as a selection from his acclaimed 8-track series, so sort of 70s pop tunes and all of that stuff. So it's really great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's that 70s pop soul songbook is how songs like What's Going On by Marvin Gaye appears on this disc, and a timely song, now more than ever, as well as Wichita Lineman. Dave Stryker is a great guitarist, kind of in that soulful Pat Martino. You can just picture him with an organ trio, that kind of vibe. And yeah, just to have his sound, his style amplified by the WDR Big Band, to hear him next to Bob Mincer, it's just a real treat. This is another great album. Again, urge people to go on and spin it or buy it. Now's the time to buy it. Buy the physical CDs. Musicians need it now more than ever. So, all right, that was number 2 on our list. We're going to follow it up. We're going to double down on guitars here, Matt, because the next album is by guitar legend John Scofield. It's a new album called Swallowtails, and it was released, again, I want to say June 12th. It was originally scheduled for June 5th, pushed back a week to June 12th on the ECM label.
Right. You had him on the show, Brian, right?
We had John Scofield on the show back when it was the Jazz's happy hour or brunch. I lose track. There's so many meals here. I'm stuffed. But yeah, he was talking about this new album, his longtime friendship with Steve Swallow, the electric bassist, and the making of this album. But I'm curious, what do you have to say about it, Matt?
Oh, that was exciting, that show, actually. He's just a great guy. Actually, this album is a tribute album celebration for his friend and longtime mentor, or longtime friend and mentor, one of these. We're live, Matt. What are you doing? Anyways, and it features new interpretations of some of Swallow's compositions. We're talking about, Steve Swallow, great bassist. And we've also got Bill Stewart on drums. And, the music sounds so good. It really stretched out, got some great chemistry. It's so hard to believe that the whole thing was recorded in just one day, apparently.
Old school. That's right. Just guys in the studio getting it on tape. Not only does it sound good, Matt, but it sure feels good too. I've got a copy of it right here. You can't see it in the glare of my light. But yeah, this is, if you've never held an ECM album in your hands, it is a thing of beauty. Steve Swallow, you mentioned, was an electric bass pioneer, started on upright bass like, most jazz bassists do, but was really one of the first in the 60s to transition fully to electric bass. And wow, the sound he gets out of that thing is so rich. It's so poor. You can hear the texture. It's unlike anything you've ever heard before. So how cool that John, for his ECM leader debut, by the way, chose to celebrate his friend Steve Swallow, and Steve Swallow is on the disc. So an all around very cool project. Definitely recommend it. All right, as I take another swig of my LaCroix, we're going to move on to the next album on the list here. Again, changing gears a little bit. This one is from contemporary jazz saxophonist Boney James. It is his new album, Solid, and it was released June 12th on Concord. We had Boney on the show as well. He was talking about the making of this record too. But Matt, what's your take on it?
Yeah, let's plug the show, Brian. Yeah, Boney, that was a great interview as well. I love Boney James. One of the biggest names in smooth jazz today, possibly ever. He's one of the biggest names ever. Back with a solid album. No pun intended. Given the
you intended that pun. You intended that pun, don't you? Try to pull one over on us.
Yeah. I kind of did. This is a great album. And, we're living in stressful times, people. So, you want to hear some feel-good uplift. You want to hear some feel-good uplifting music. this is the album to hear. And also, it's that type of genre bending album mixes a lot of styles, and I feel like with this album too, it marks a further progression in Boney James's artistic evolution.
Totally. And one of the things he told me when he was here on the show was that jazz is a sound of freedom, so what he makes is Boney James music, and the source of inspiration he draws for that music come from everywhere. He told me one story about he was doing a sound check before a festival, and one of the musicians in the band was playing a riff just to warm up, to test the sound. And Boney said, "Hey, play that again. That sounds great." I played it again. He took that riff, took it back to the studio, and turned it into one of the songs on the album. So inspiration can strike at any time. Yeah, it's a great album. Definitely going to want to check that one out, and going to want to see that episode with Boney on the Jazz's Last Call.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll scooch down the list once again, Matt, and move on to the next album on our list. This one is from the jazz trio Gogo Penguin, and it is their self-titled album on Blue Note Records. It was released on June 12th. Again, originally scheduled for June 5th, pushed back a week. Here it is on June 12th, and yeah, this was a great album. I've been listening to this one a lot lately.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite albums of the year so far. I got to tell you, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it. I love it. I love it. Oh, actually, let me say this. Today on the site, I actually published a track by track article where the band actually goes over each one of the tracks in the album. So if you want to find out more about that, go over to jazzes.com. I know that you also had them on the show too, so that's pretty cool.
That's right.
I do encourage people to check out the track by track, obviously, because it's better to hear it from the source than just the two of us talking. But what I can say is it's a fantastic album, continuation of the work that they do, blending several styles of music, including jazz, neoclassical, more modern styles, electronic EDM. What's always amazing to know is that they're a trio. And what they're able to achieve, and just the richness of the music, and just the sheer volume of the music too, sometimes they're able to achieve via a limited arsenal of effects, which is extraordinary.
That is what's so extraordinary, is that they really channel, just like you said, electronic dance music, techno, this kind of hypnotic beat making, but replicate it all through acoustic instruments. Now, the piano player will kind of doctor the piano a little bit to get some kind of cool, interesting effects. But otherwise, it's all acoustic. Fans of EST, Esbjorn Svensson Trio, of the Bad Plus, of EDM, the kind of stuff that Donnie McCaslin or Mark Juliana is doing, bridging EDM and jazz, definitely going to want to check out this group. It's amazing. Just kind of turn it on, get lost in those hypnotic grooves, but watch as things morph subtly and organically throughout the repetition. It's a really great listen. Go on and check out Gogo Penguin's latest. It's easy to remember because the album's named after the band. Anyway, Matt. Okay, next up, we're going to stick with Blue Note. They had a lot of great releases this month. And we've got a new one by Norah Jones. It's called Pick Me Up Off the Floor. It too was released on June 12th, and again on the great Blue Note Records. So, Matt, what can you tell us about Norah Jones's latest?
Way to go, Blue Note. So many albums out this month. It's great to see Norah Jones back. Who doesn't love Norah Jones? Norah Jones is great. I love Norah Jones. And it's great to see her back. This is her brand new album since 2016's Daybreak. She had a compilation album, I believe, of tracks from various sessions. Maybe last year, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. But this is a connection of new songs. Actually, the songs themselves were composed during various sessions that she has done over the years with various artists. And but despite this, it's an incredibly cohesive collection of songs, not just with the style, which is pretty adventurous, and actually showcases Norah Jones as a great piano player as well as a great vocalist. She's always great to highlight too. It also has a narrative, because while many of the songs explore trauma, pain, various types of pain, psychological especially, and difficult times, as the album goes on, it gets progressively optimistic, and so it's just like that old saying: "There's always a light at the end of the tunnel." That is a saying, right, Brian?
Oh, absolutely. And certainly applicable these days, so we hope. But you're right. it's remarkable that these songs came from different recording sessions, and for whatever reason wound up on the cutting room floor. But assembling them here, it's like one of those amazing found object collages, pieces from different things that somehow come together and make something entirely new. That's really what this album is. And just like you said, it's amazing that she was able to shape a narrative from these songs that were pulled from various points throughout her career. So yeah, another great.
She's a poet too.
She is
a poetry in that album as well.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, another hit for Blue Note Records. All right, Matt, we're going to move on down the list, so they say. Next one on the list is by saxophonist Rudra Mohan. The new album is Hero Trio, and it will be released June 19th, so this Friday on Whirlwind Records. I love Rudra. We have had Rudra on the show to walk us through some of his quarantine cooking, because he's an amazing cook, in addition to being one of the most brilliant alto saxophone players out there at the moment. But Matt, what can you tell us about Rudra's latest?
First of all, I want to highlight, there's something about that album cover. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's just minimalistic. I don't know, but it just gets to me. I don't know what it is. There's something about it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. What's really exciting about this is that a chordless trio has emerged. Rudra following in the footsteps of such greats as Sonny Rollins, and delivering the goods in an album that pays tribute to some of his heroes with new imaginative arrangements of Sonny Rollins' compositions. Charlie Parker, happy birthday, Charlie Parker, 100th, the year of his 100th anniversary, and a beautiful version of Ring of Fire by June and Johnny Cash.
That's absolutely right. Funny you should mention album covers, Matt, because our forthcoming print issue, the fall 2020 issue coming out in September, is all about the art of the album, producing albums, listening to albums, collecting albums, and album art. In fact, I'm working on an article about album art this very moment, talking with contemporary designers about the artists that influence them. So sometimes an album cover absolutely has that power to draw you in even before you've heard a single note. Rudra's stuff is just great. I love the way he recontextualizes songs, reinterprets them. The Charlie Parker song in there, for example, Red Cross. Rudra doesn't just kind of keep the melody and change up the groove or change up the time or something like that. He takes a snippet of the song's DNA and totally alters it, into something wildly imaginative, totally different, but you could still kind of, identify the essence of the tune. It's what he does best. And to hear him here with a cordless trio, saxophone, drums, and bass, just allows so much free expression, flexibility. He greatly admires that Sonny Rollins outfit you were talking about, where he recorded live at the Village Vanguard. That was kind of an inspiration for him. And you could hear that influence resonating throughout this disc. A great album, highly recommend it. Definitely going to want to check this one out. Again, I guess we're doubling up instruments here, because the next album on our list also comes from a saxophone player. This one would be the great Bobby Watson. His new release on Smoke Sessions Records is Keeping It Real, and it is coming out June 26th. Bobby Watson, we should mention, was also a guest on the show. Yeah. He was in a double booking we had with vocalist Kat Edmondson. They both shared the couch. That was a phenomenal episode. Kat performed, Bobby performed. What a night. Definitely go check that one out. But what can you tell us about Bobby Watson's forthcoming album, Keeping It Real?
Bobby Watson checking in with Jazz Is. You're interviewing all of them, Brian. Soon enough, there won't be anyone else to interview, and it'll be over for everybody.
I'll be stuck talking to you forever.
Oh no! All right. Well, we need to. That's another reason that we need to protect music for. Anyways, Bobby Watson. Well, he's what a guy. Former member of the Jazz Messengers. You might have heard of him. Feeling very silly today. Anyways, renewing his commitment to spread the message of hard bop and performing a program of originals, but also covers with a team of hungry young collaborators, and his buddy Curtis Lundy is there too. And this is a brand new incarnation of his famed Horizon Quintet. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Absolutely swinging stuff. Yeah, Bobby Watson, a member of the great Jazz Messengers, led by Art Blakey. He took the lessons he learned from Blakey and applied them to his group, Horizons, in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. This is the latest, like you said, incarnation of that group, with a lot of young players. And straight ahead, swinging, absolutely burning jazz. This is the album for you. Just like all, it's the kind of stuff you've come to expect from Smoke Sessions Records, which is, a great kind of safekeeper of that straight ahead flame. So definitely going to want to pick this one up when it comes out on June 26th for sure. All right. Again, score another one for Blue Note this month. Next album on the list is from a phenomenal bassist, Derek Hodge. The new album is Color of Noise, and it will be released June 26th on Blue Note Records.
I've been thinking about this. I don't know what Color Noise has. But what I know is that Derek Hodge certainly recalls a painter in his prime, with just the way he uses styles, genres, influences, mixing them all together and create something new out of them that's just special. It's unique. And each of the tracks of this album are original compositions, with the exception of a particularly inspired version of Fall by Wayne Shorter. And hey, this is an album of first for him as well, because this is apparently the first album that he's ever released to feature a live band playing throughout. So great stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of cool the way they recorded it. It was in Hollywood. Everyone in the group was kind of sitting around in a circle, again, recording it the way musicians might have been doing it in Rudy Van Gelder's studio, back in the 60s. Yeah, great.
Those are the days.
This one. Heavy hip hop vibe, heavy R&B vibe. It is laying down the kind of grooves that I can imagine a Mos Def, rapping over, a Talib Kweli rapping over, or Jill Scott singing to. And he just pulls that vocal quality out of his bass so well. His solos are almost like someone singing. Another great album, and a good album to just turn on and chill out to.
Get lost
in
it.
Grooves. Yes, for sure. All right, so that was Derek Hodge's latest. Wow, hey, that brings us, Matt, I can't believe it. This surprises us every time, and I don't know why. We're on the last album of the list here, number 10 of 10. And it's a good one. We're going out on a high note. This would be the latest by Maceo Parker. His new album is Soul Food, Cooking with Maceo, and it will be released June 26th on the Funk Garage Mascot label group.
Oh, you got to get him on the show, Brian.
I'm working on it. Stay tuned, everyone.
Oh, he's got to have some stories, He's got to have some story. Get this, though. This is his first studio album in 8 years. I mean, it's amazing, and it's great to have him back. This is a celebration of the rich and praiseworthy music of Mississippi, because we all know, to quote a song by Prince, which has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, but there must be something in the water.
Well, there's never a wrong time to quote Prince, let me tell you.
Yeah, and Soul Food finds him kind of collaborating with and performing with some awesome New Orleans musicians, and playing a program of originals, but also new interpretations of songs by such artists as Dr. John, The Meters, and Prince. So there you go. There's that name again. It's great stuff. And his playing is amazing.
Well, Maceo Parker's playing you know and love. You've heard him with the JBs, James Brown's band. I Feel Good, that sax boom. I mean, that's Maceo.
Yeah.
That's Maceo doing his thing. So yeah, it's a soulful record. I love the guest appearances, and like you said, I'm working on getting Maceo on the show. So stay tuned. He might be joining us for a last call. Believe it or not, Matt, that does it again. We have reached the end of our list here of the 10 albums you need to know for June 2020.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious? I don't know. There must be something we can do to fill the time. We got to think of something.
I have an idea. Let's come up with another list, and we'll do it again next month. There we go. In the meantime, hey, Matt, I encourage you and everyone watching to why not read through the articles in our summer 2020 issue.
Talk about covers.
Oh, yeah. This one is on newsstands now and has already mailed to subscribers. It is all about fusion, the age of fusion. That is the cover story there. A wide-ranging interview with fusion great Chick Corea. Chick is going to be on the show soon as well. But, Matt, all of the articles in this beautiful print issue are also available as digital articles on our website. You would know, Matt, because You put them up there.
Yeah.
And you will need a digital subscription to read them. Matt and I both have one. And fortunately, we're offering a very special subscription rate for Jazz's Last Call viewers. For 99 cents per month for 3 months, you can receive a trial of unlimited digital access. You can read all the stories from this print issue and every other print issue, as well as the exclusive interviews, Q&As, track by tracks, all that great stuff on our site. Plus, come September 2020, you'll be enrolled to receive our fall 2020 issue, which, like I said, is all about the art of the album. Producing albums, listening to albums, collecting albums, album cover art, anything you've ever wanted to know about the making of an album. That's what we're covering in that issue. And like I say, 99 cents per month for 3 months gets you all the content from this great summer 2020 issue, and will enroll you to receive our fall 2020 issue. Also, Matt, I don't know if you know of any independent artists. You know, we get emails a lot.
Lots.
Matt, Brian, I just released an album. How can I get it to your attention? How can I get it in front of yours? You know, consider it for a review or whatnot. The way to do that is by using our Inside Track program. This program is available on our site. You just go to our website, click Inside Track in the top navigation bar, and you just input everything about your album. The band name, the album name, the personnel, track listing. You send us a link to SoundCloud or Bandcamp or your personal website, and that comes directly to us, comes directly to me, comes directly to Matt. Not only that, there it is. Jeff has gone ahead and pulled it up. The easiest way to submit your music. Not only that, but after you submit, you receive a listing on our Inside Track page. So people from all over the world are able to browse your album. And not only that, but you can browse albums from artists all over the world. And yeah, get people to vote for your album. It moves you up the list. You can wind up in the top 5 albums of the week list up there at the top. You can wind up with a Song of the Day post in a weekly Discover playlist, in the pages of our magazine, or maybe as a guest on this very podcast video, whatever this thing is. Wouldn't that be a treat?
I'm going to be later today, so I'm looking forward to hearing some new music. I'm looking forward to it.
Me as well, Matt. Well, hey, thank you for joining me today to walk through the 10 albums you need to know for June 2020. As we mentioned, this article is available on our website as well. And we'll be back again next month with the 10 albums you need to know for July. Cheers to you, Matt. A nice LaCroix, cheers to you.
Cheers. Cheers, Brian.
See you later. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.